Have you ever wondered what it's like to hear God's voice so clearly that it guides every step you take? Imagine leading an entire nation, facing impossible odds, and winning battles not with brute strength, but by listening to divine instruction. That was the reality for Joshua, Moses' successor, a leader whose story is a masterclass in hearing and obeying God. Today, we're going to dive deep into what Joshua knew about hearing God's voice and how we can apply those same principles to our own lives. This isn't just about ancient history. It's about unlocking a deeper, more personal connection with God right now. Before Joshua ever commanded armies or stood before fortified cities, he was a servant. While Moses entered the tent of meeting to speak with God face to face, Scripture tells us something easy to overlook. Joshua, son of Nun, did not leave the tent. He wasn't the one receiving the instructions. He wasn't the leader yet, but he stayed close. Joshua positioned himself near the presence of God, not because he was required to, but because he wanted to be. He chose presence over convenience, closeness over recognition. And long before God entrusted him with leading a nation, Joshua was learning how God moved, how God spoke, and how obedience was formed in quiet places. Hearing God's voice did not begin when Joshua stepped into leadership. It began when no one was watching. Years later, Joshua would spend 4 decades in the wilderness, serving under Moses. 40 years of waiting, 40 years of watching, 40 years of preparation. He witnessed miracles, failures, moments of obedience, and moments of consequence. During that time, Joshua learned that God's timing rarely aligns with human impatience. God was shaping Joshua's spiritual ears long before he gave him spiritual responsibility. And when the moment finally came, when Moses died and leadership passed to Joshua, God did not begin with strategy. He began with reassurance. Be strong and very courageous, not once, but repeatedly. Because hearing God's voice is one thing. Having the courage to act on it is another. Joshua would soon face instructions that made no sense by human logic. Marching around Jericho, waiting instead of attacking, trusting obedience over explanation. But Joshua had already learned something vital. God's wisdom does not need human approval to work. And because Joshua had spent years listening quietly, waiting patiently, and staying close, he was ready to obey fully. Joshua's life reminds us that God is still speaking. But clarity often comes to those who choose proximity, patience, and courage over speed, noise, and certainty. So the question is not whether God is speaking. The question is, are we positioning ourselves to listen? If this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Thanks for watching.